The plan for processing the data from the Build a Bouquet form in the Hansel and Petal site involves identifying whether an array key begins with a known prefix and stripping it off. Before diving into the code, let's take a look at how to find and extract a substring. In this exercise file, one of the array keys we'll be working with has been assigned to a variable called original on line 2. What we need to do is to find out whether it begins with color underscore, color underscore, and if it does, extract the final part, in this case color lilies, the name of the flower. So to find the position of a substring within another string, you use a function which has an impossible name, strpos, which stands for string position, and it takes 2 arguments. The first one is the string that you want to search, and the second is the substring that you're looking for. So let's try that out. On line 14, I'm going to add a PHP block. And we want to display the result of strpos. So it will be echo and then strpos. And the string that we're looking at, which is called original. And what we're looking for needs to be a string. We're looking for color underscore. Then a closing parenthesis and our semicolon. We need to do the same with color, so let me copy that and paste. And we're going to be looking for color, and it's case sensitive, so that C must be in uppercase. So this will give us the position of those strings within the longer string. Let's save that and go to a browser to check it out. And we need to go to localhost/exercises, and we're in chapter 05. It's 05_05, and the file is called substring.php. And there are the values. The position of color is 0. The position of color is 6. This works like an array that the numbering begins at 0. And the fact that the first one begins at 0 creates a little bit of a problem. Let's go back to our editing program and see what the problem is likely to be. I'm going to add a new PHP block down here. And this is the way that we will do it in the final script. What we need to do is to check whether the string or the array begins with a particular set of characters. So we'll use an if clause, and the condition will be strpos, and we're looking in this case in original, and we want to know whether it begins with color underscore. So we'll need a comparison operator, 2 equals signs, 0. So if it's at point 0, that should be true. So we'll have an opening bracket and a closing PHP tag. Then we'll have a paragraph which will tell us whether it's at the beginning. And then we need a closing brace for that if clause, and then we need else in case it's not at the beginning. Let's just copy that paragraph, paste it. The original string does not begin with color. Then of course we need a closing curly brace for that else block. So let us save that page, and if it begins with color, we should see this paragraph displayed. Refresh the page, and yes, we've got confirmation that it does indeed begin with color, but there's a snag. Let's go back. I'm British and I spell colour with a U. So do Canadians, Australians and many other countries. But this isn't what we're looking for. We're not looking for something that begins with that. But let's just see what happens. I'll save that, go back to the browser, refresh it, and it still says that the original string begins with colour. Why is that? Well, the reason is that PHP regards 0 as being falsy, and the strpos, the string pos function, returns position in the string if it finds it. If it can't find it, it returns false. And 0 is regarded as being falsy. It's implicitly false. So what is happening here is if it finds it at the beginning, fine. If it can't find it at all, it returns false. To get around this problem, what we have to do is to make sure that it really is 0 We do that by having 3 equals signs. If I now save that page and reload, the original string does not begin with color. If I go back and correct my spelling, resave the page and reload, the original string begins with color. So we've now found a way, using 3 equals signs, of identifying whether a string or the array key that we're going to be looking at begins with that particular phrase. What we need to do now is to extract the rest of it. And we saw earlier that color begins at position 6. So what we can do to extract it, in my PHP block here at the end, I'm going to use echo and another function called substring, substr. The first argument that it takes is the string that you're looking at. This is original. And the second argument is the position in the string from which you want to extract. Color begins at position 6, so the argument is 6. You can add a third argument, which is the length that you want to extract, but if you omit that third argument, you get the whole of the rest of the string, and that's exactly what we want. So the closing parenthesis and a semicolon, and if I just save that, go back to my browser and refresh, I've now got calla lilies with the beginning color underscore stripped off. And that is the way in which we will work in the order page for the Hansel and Petal site. So to find the position of a substring in a longer string, you need to use the strpos function, which returns the position of the first letter in the substring counting from 0. And if the substring can't be found, the function returns false. So if you're looking for a substring at the beginning, you need to use 3 equals signs. Let's just check that again. 3 equals signs like this to make sure that the result is actually 0 and not false. And to extract a substring, you use the substring function, substr. The first argument is the original string. The second argument is the starting position of the substring you want to extract. And there's an optional third argument that sets the length of the substring. Without the third argument, you get everything from the start position to the end.